We stand today upon the shifting sands of a reality we have constructed with our own magnificent, restless mind, a world so dazzling in its complexity, so immediate its demand, that we have become lost within its own labyrinth, and it is here in the state of profound collective disorientation that the ancient wisdom of words, Aho Chinmatra Meva Indriyalo Jalopamam Jagate, Atho Mama Kathakutra, Heyo Padeya Kalpana, resonates not a quaint philosophical relic, but as the most urgent and practical prescription for our times, for its reveal with surgical precision. That is the root cause of our societal anguish and the polarization, anxiety, and performative desperation. The endless, futile grasping lies in a fundamental misidentification of the self, a mistaken belief that we have finite, fragile entity adrift in a solid objective words, when in truth, as the words declare with breathtaking finality, our essential nature is nothing other than pure, undivided consciousness. Chinmatram, a realization that the immediately expose the world for what is truly is a wondrous and fleeting magic show. Indrajalopamam, a play of appearance with no more substantiality than a dream, and from this enlightened perspective, the very framework for attraction, aversion, or grasping and rejecting, Yopadeya Kalpana, upon which the entire edifice of our modern suffering is built collapse, for one cannot be wounded by the sword of a dream, nor can be find lasting peace by clutching at the treasure of a mirage. The first part of the great declaration, Aho Chinmatra Mevaham, I am indeed pure consciousness alone, is the fundamental axiom from which all else follows, and its forgetting is the original sin of our age, for we live in a culture that relentlessly externalizing and trains us from birth to seek our identity in the ephemeral, in the curated images of social media, in the fluctuating number of our bank account, in the fragile approval of our peers, in the transient high of consumerism, and in the rigid, often tribal label of our politics and ideologies, we have become, in the deepest sense, amnesiacs, having forgotten the limitless silent witnessing awareness that we are, and instead we cling desperately to the small construct self, the ego, which is perpetually insecure, perpetually hungry, perpetually afraid, a phantom identity that must constantly defend its border and accumulate more and more likes, more wealth, more status, more certainly in a futile attempt to fill a void that can only be recognized as already and eternally full. This is collective amnesia give the word its illusionary solidity, its terrifying power over us, and it is the word harpened by our belief in its separateness that the words then deftly descriptive with the phrase in the Jalopamam Jagat. The word is like an illusion or a magic show. Note the dimension is not existence, but the reveal its true nature as a dynamic, interdependent, and utterly unsubstantial flow of the phenomena as an intranet, where every road reflect every other, where cause and effect are so intertwined that no independent permanent thing can be found. In the view, the word is a verb, not a noun, is a simmering holographic projection of a consciousness itself, and its a magical quality is not that is not there, but that is there, in a way that defies our attempt to freeze it, to own it, to make it permanent, and yet this is precisely what our society built on the twin pillar of materialism and individualism compels us to do. We are constantly engaged in the frenetic and impossible task to trying to make the magic so solid, trying to grasp the water of a river that is forever following, trying to build permanent structure on the surface of a dream. This is futile endeavor in the engine of our collective neuroses, for it generates the endless cycle of desire and aversion, of grasping and rejecting, which the verse identify as the Heo Padeya Kalpana, the mental construct of things to be reject and things to be held onto. And oh no, how sophisticated and all consuming this construction has become in the 21st century. Our entire economic system is predicted on a vast and ingenious machine designed to manufacture new desire before old one can be stated, to create an endless dream of things to be onto, from the latest smartphone to the next exotic vacation, while simultaneously generating a deep seated anxiety, a fear, obsolescence, and inadequacy, which are the things are to be rejected. Our social and political landscape are similarly poisoned by the dualistic framework, where we are divided into rigid camps to us and them, where complex human beings are reduced to label to be embraced or despised, where every issue is framed as a battle between the forces of light we must hold on to and forces of darkness we must reject, a polarization that is tearing to at the very fabric of our communities, our abilities to engage in rational competitive dialogue. For when we are identified with the ego, any threat to our opinion feel like a threat to our very existence, and we feel fight with the ferocity of a dream who believes his life is a danger, not knowing he is safe in his bed. His words is final, unanswerable questions. Ato mam katham kutra heo padeya kalpana. Therefore, me, how and where can there be any notion of rejection or acceptance is not merely rhetorical flourish, but the key that unlocks the prison door, for it challenges us to consider I am a pure, unchanging, all pervading consciousness in which this magical fleeting word appears. Then who is that is supposed to grasp and who is the supposed to be rejected? The one who grabs in the ego fictitious self and the object is grabs are equally factitious. And in the clear light of self knowledge, the whole drama is seen to be just that, a drama, a play of light, a shadow on the screen of being, where the screen itself remains untouched, unstained, and utterly free. The relevance of the teaching of the modern society, therefore, could not be more profound or more desperately needed, for it offers not a solution to our problem within the existing framework, but a radical translation of the framework itself. It does not tell us how to get more want what we want and less of what we do not want, but rather ask to a question the very nature of the I that wants and the word is which these wants are sought, and in doing so it points where to a image a society where individuals are no longer driven by a frenetic fear-based energy of the grasping ego, where our relationship with the technology shift our addictive consumption to mindful utility, where our political discourses freed from the need for tribal validation become an honest search for a common goods, where our economic activity guided nor by insatiable hunger for more, but by a sense of creative fulfillment and genuine services, where our environment crisis is addressed not from the place of guilt and panic, but from a deep, intuitive, intuitive understanding that we are not separate from the world we are destroying, that is harming the planet. We are merely harming a part of our extended self. This is quite revolution that is what's proposed, a revolution that begins not in the street but the silent uttermost chamber of our human heart, a turning away from the exhausting pursuit, the happiness in the objective world, and a turning inward discover the initiated happiness of the subjective self. This is not a call of quietism or a withdrawal, infinite, unaccessible happiness of a subjective self. This is not a call of quietism or a withdrawal from the world, but rather a invitation engage the world from a place of unshakable inner freedom. For once we have realized that the ground of reality, then that is I am a pure consciousness and word is magic. So to live us, if the were true, to live a life of effortless grace, a life where the variably burden of constant choices, a perpetual grasping of rejecting simply falls away, and its place arises spontaneous nature and joyful participation in the Leela, the divine play of existence, a state of being that is only true and lasting solution of the suffering that plagues our modern world. A solution that is not somewhere out of there to be grasped or rejected, but it is there and now waiting to be recognized as our very own self. Very own self. Thank you.